All right, so I've been a lifelong goody two-shoes, and this means I've been feeling sorry for over 43 years for something I did when I was in high school. Now, it was 1980, and for anybody in the room who maybe was in high school anywhere around that time, what you know is that I could not swing a dead cat in my friend group without knocking over a half a dozen people named Sue. And so the story can get confusing. So I'm gonna count it out for you. I'm gonna help you keep track, okay? Sue number one. Her name was Sue Lane, and she was turning 17 that weekend. Sue Ritter, my best friend, she and I wanted to pull a practical joke on Sue Lane for her birthday. But first we were gonna have to know where she'd be. So we're in the high school, we're in the cafeteria, we're strategizing. A third Sue from across the lunch table says, "That's easy. Sue Lane has a date to the movies with Dave Coma. They're seeing Somewhere in Time at 7:30. So this is perfect now. We know where she's gonna be and how long she'll be there. So Sue Ritter and I hatch a plan that while Sue Lane is in the movies with her date, we're gonna wrap their car like an enormous birthday present, because these are the kind of shenanigans that goody two-shoes get into, okay? So now a fourth Sue sitting to my right in the cafeteria says, if you and Sue Ritter can get the gift wrap, I'll provide the balloons. So Sue Ritter and I go home after school that day, and we rummage through our mother's craft closets, and we borrow all the gift wrap we can borrow. And when I say borrow, I mean steal. And yes, I'm feeling guilty about that too. But in the meantime, a fifth Sue is doing the reconnaissance to figure out what kind of a car Dave Coma will be driving that night. Now, whether you were alive in the 80s or not, you know this car. It's a Plymouth station wagon. It's a big boat of a car with a fake wood grain paneling on the outside. And on the interior, seats made of rich Corinthian leather, whatever the heck that is. Anyway, it was big, it was green, it was ugly, and Sue Ritter and I had no problem finding it in the Cineplex, that parking lot that night. So we wrapped that sucker from bumper to bumper. And then we took the balloons that Sue number 4 had provided, and we strung them up the antenna and across the roof, and it was a thing of beauty. Sue Ritter and I crouched behind a neighboring vehicle like a couple of Charlie's Angels on a stakeout. And we're waiting for the movie to end and for people to come out. And before long, people start streaming into the parking lot. And a crowd forms around this car that we had wrapped. And we are now giddy with anticipation, like we're gonna wet our pants. We're so excited. Until we hear this loud bang. And we look up from where we're hiding, and there's a woman. She is plucking balloons off Dave Coma's antenna and popping them. Sue Ritter and I are like, what the heck? We spent an hour and a half wrapping this car, and this woman is ruining it, and our friend Sue Lane has not even seen it yet. And then one of these phenomenons happened, like you see on, on the local news, Action News, where an otherwise peaceful crowd suddenly turns ugly because this dude steps out of the crowd. He starts peeling gift wrap off the car, crumpling it up, throwing it on the ground, like a toddler at a birthday party who doesn't understand that the present isn't for him. But then the worst thing of all happened. These two people had the nerve to get into Dave Coma's car and drive away. That's right, they drove away. And I'm gonna tell you that denial is a really powerful thing, because it took Sue Ritter and me an embarrassingly long amount of time to realize that just as we had perhaps one too many Sues in our lives, there were also multiple Plymouths. And we had clearly wrapped the wrong car. Now, in its wake, there's this crime scene of gift wrap with our fingerprints all over it, and it looks like the chalk outline of a 1978 Plymouth station wagon. Now, Sue Ritter and I, as goody two-shoes, cannot afford to have tampering with private property listed on the most important document of our lives. You all know it, the permanent record. And so We scooped it all up and we chucked it in the hatchback of the car we had borrowed from my sister that night. My sister, by the way, also named Sue.
Oh, gosh.
This is the truth. And then we fled the scene of the crime, never to speak of it again until tonight. Now, somewhere over here, there's a guy recording this. This could go viral. And you know, I've stressed about this for over 40 years because I think about this couple who somewhere in time has spent 43 years, 4 months, and 22 days trying to figure out who wrapped their car and why. I mean, can you imagine the sleepless nights? And the false accusations that have been hurled at friends and family members? So, I don't know. They could find out, and I could finally get in trouble for this, but it's time to start letting some things go. And I figure by now the statute of limitations has run out. And if not, what are they really gonna do? Sue me?